Have you ever been afraid of getting pregnant before you were ready? Because that's definitely a concern that I've had, and I think that a lot of people around the US and around the world have the same concern as well. I know a lot of people know about options of birth control, and I'm sure a lot of people are using them. However, I feel like natural birth control isn't talked about much other than condoms. So I'm here to introduce you to Natural Cycles. It is an all-natural birth control method using your basal body temperature from a thermometer. And I think it would be really great for women to use if they want to avoid hormones, avoid pregnancy, and get more in touch with their body. So I know there's a lot of controversy about hormones out there, which is one of the things that led me to looking for a natural way. And I know that hormones can have good and bad things. I just think that it's important that you know what you're dealing with when you're going into it. And as I was reading a book by Suzanne Summers called I'm Too Young for This, she says that all hormones are not equal. Also, not all hormones are used effectively by doctors to address the many diseases and conditions people suffer from. So like I said before, hormones are scary, there's controversy, just know what you're doing when you're going into them. So first I'm going to talk about some of those hormone birth control methods and just let you know some of the side effects about them before I go into talking about natural cycles. So the first method that I know is really popular birth control that is hormonal is the birth control pill. So as I was doing some research, according to Ask Your Gynecologist, the book by Dr. Thornton and Scram, common side effects include nausea, bloating, headaches, mood change, breast tenderness, and bleeding in between periods, end quote. And I know that that can be kind of uncomfortable for some people, but for others, maybe that's fine and it's something they want to work with, or maybe they don't experience it all and that could be a good method for them. There's also IUD, which is an implant into the uterus. It has similar side effects as that. You definitely have irregular bleeding, and sometimes it can break your uterus wall and have to get removed. But it's also great for people that don't want to remember to take the pill or remember to take their basal body temperature, and it's really up to you once again. There's also the arm implant, which is about the size of a matchstick. It goes in your arm. It's not localized hormones, it's more hormones throughout your whole bloodstream, which might affect people a little bit more. And once again, if that works for you, you also don't have to wake up and take a form of birth control. So next, I'm going to move on to natural cycles and how this is different from other birth controls, but still pretty effective. So I want to start by mentioning that you can only get pregnant when or around your ovulation. So according to the Whole Life Fertility Plan by Dr. Phillips, quote, there are 4 days out of each month in total when you have a good chance of getting pregnant. Basically what that means is when the egg is ready to meet with the sperm, those are the only days you can get pregnant. On other days, it's not going to allow the sperm to reach it, or your cervical mucus will block it. And on some days you're on your period, which is releasing the egg, so those are not going to be good days for it either. So natural cycles basically can predict when you're going to ovulate or around and block out those days for you. So of course you have to be careful of STDs, but aside from that, all those other days in the month, you can have sex on what is called green days according to the algorithm, and it'll be safe sex. Other than those days around ovulation, those are days that you should abstain from sex or use a condom or some other very safe birth control, especially because you'll be ovulating. Besides from that, tracking all those days, it also uses your basal body temperature. And according also to the Whole Life Fertility Plan by Dr. Phillip, your basal body temperature, quote, should be consistent throughout the month, about 97 to 97.5 Fahrenheit degrees, except the day or two after you ovulate, when it will just go up just a small amount or 0.2 of a degree. So it'll help track through that. You also will take LH tests, which are ovulation prediction tests, and you'll also track the days of your period, and through all of that algorithm, like I said, it'll either give you the green or red days, and you can have safe sex. So besides blocking pregnancy, besides, now we've talked about hormones, the last thing that I wanted to say is that it's really empowering to get in touch with your body. And I think that the Natural Cycles basal body temperature method really helps do that. So, first off, I think that it's important that you're aware of your ovulation because there are certain side effects, natural side effects that come with when you're ovulating, you're on your period. And I think that it would be really nice to know, let's say you're cramping or you're acting moody or something like that, and you can connect it back to your ovulation, which is, I know for me, when my body's acting up and I don't know if it's because something I ate or I didn't get enough sleep or maybe a chemical imbalance, I like to be able to trace it back to something because it's empowering, it makes me feel healthy, and it makes me feel really in touch with my body. Also, it's nice to know when you're going to have your period because you can avoid planning a big swim trip or something that you wouldn't really feel comfortable having your period with. And I think that it's nice to be prepared. Let's say your period's coming up, you can know when to carry around pads or tampons, and that's something nice to know. And then, like I mentioned before, I think it's just nice to know your body and know what's going on with your body and be aware of it and share it with your doctor or your partner or whoever that may be. And also, when you do want to get pregnant, which might seem a million years away, you will know when you're ovulating, you'll know your body, and it'll be that much easier for you. So basically, just to go over what we talked about, one, a lot of people want to stay away from hormones, or maybe some don't, but it's just important that you know your options. Two, natural cycles is 93% effective with typical use and 98% effective with perfect use, which is really high for a natural birth control. And three, it helps you get in touch with your body, which is super empowering. And so if this is something that you're interested in, or maybe you're not, but it was just nice to know that you're happy with your form of birth control, or maybe you don't take birth control at all and this was new information to you. I hope this helped anybody watching, and thank you.